Hello everyone. So this is just a very quick presentation on the assignment that you're going to be doing, which is a film reflection on misrepresentation, Orgasm Inc., and Sexy Lie. So for this assignment, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be essentially looking at three films and writing about them. And through this process, you'll be connecting some of the main arguments together. So this assignment is divided into three parts, but you will put everything that you've written into one post onto the Blackboard page. Very important is that you also must incorporate two required readings, and required readings are the ones that you have to be assigned to, the ones that you get quizzed on in your post. And you must cite your readings using APA in your post. So, how I recommend you go about doing this is as you watch the film, write down your responses to the questions onto a Word document so that when you then are finished with everything, you can cut and paste it and put it onto the Blackboard, okay? So I think that would be easier than you trying to go back in to add it because I don't want three separate posts from you. I just want one post. So here are the instructions of how to do this on Blackboard. So you're going to go to the Blackboard page and you're going to click on the side tab that says Film Reflection, Misrepresentation, Orgasm Inc., and Sexy Lie. You're then going to click on the post and then you're going to click on Create a Thread. And it is there, then you can copy and paste what you've written down in that separate Word document into it so that you have one post. So here's a visual of what I'm talking about. So as you go into Blackboard, you'll see this. Click on, as you see the orange arrow, to the Film Reflection, Misrepresentation, Orgasm Inc., and Sexy Lie. It will then take you to this. So then click onto this link, which again will then lead you to this. And this is where you post. So you click on Create a Thread, and that's where you can then copy and paste everything that you've written into that Word document into it. So in this assignment, you're watching three films, as I said before. The first one that you're going to watch is Misrepresentation. I have also created a short lecture for this film just to give you greater context and also to connect it to the readings. So in addition to watching this film, make sure that you watch the little short lecture that I do. It's only a couple minutes long, so it's not too much, but it will give you a good context to the film. I recommend you watch the lecture before you watch the film. So after you're done watching the film, I want you to then, in 2 to 3 paragraphs on a separate Word document, answer these two questions. The first is being, how is female representation in the media framed in the context of male desire and wants? What are the results of this framing? And then the next one, in this film, they talk a lot about you can't be what you can't see, really talking about representation in media, particularly around gender. So, with that sort of message, and you'll see this throughout the film, I want you to talk about in what ways do you agree or disagree with this statement. So, cover this in about 2 to 3 paragraphs. You can always go over, you'll never get punished for going over in this class, but you at least have to hit the 2 paragraph mark. The next film that you're going to be looking at is Orgasm Inc. And then for this film, I also have an accompanying short lecture, so I recommend that you watch the lecture first before watching the film. It gives you a lot greater context to the film as well as will help you into answering the questions. So after you've watched the film and also the lecture, I want you in 2 to 3 paragraphs approximately on a separate Word document, so the same Word document that you've been using, to answer these three questions. How has female sexual dysfunction been made into a disease that must be cured? 2. What are the results of the medicalization of female sexual desire and pleasure? Does this ultimately help women? And then 3, how is female sexual pleasure framed in the context of male sexual pleasure? What are the results of this framing? So answer these 3 questions in 2 to 3 paragraphs. Again, you can go over, but at least in 2 to 3 paragraphs. The last film you're going to watch is The Sexy Lie. So I haven't done a lecture for this one. It's just this short TED Talk. So, but it is required for you to watch it. So just go straight into watching it. By then, I think a lot of your bases will be covered anyways. Okay, so after you've watched The Sexy Lie, which is, I think, only 15 minutes or so long, so it's not too long, I want you, at the last stage of this project, in 2 to 3 paragraphs, answer these 2 questions. How would you connect the arguments made about the representation of women in Misrepresentation, the film that you watched before, and female sexuality in Orgasmy, the film you watched before Sexy Lie, to The Sexy Lie? So, in this question, I'm asking you to now finally, in some ways, draw all 3 films together. 2, I want you to answer in 2 to 3 in this 2 to 3 paragraph part. How can we work to dismantle the hypersexualization of women while still empowering women and their sexuality? So again, answer both of these questions in 2 to 3 paragraphs total. So not 2 to 3 paragraphs each, but total 2 to 3 paragraphs. And you can always go over, but you'll never get punished for going over. Just you have to hit that minimum. So remember for this assignment that you have to, at any point, incorporate 2 required readings in your entire post. So that doesn't mean that you need to do 2 required readings for each part, like each section, but at least through the final Word document or the final sort of post, you need to have at least references to 2 required readings. You must also cite these readings in your post. Again, I really recommend that you do all of this in a separate Word document that you can then copy and paste into your post. It's due 11/2 and it's worth 10 points. Again, hopefully this makes sense. You can always email me if you have any questions or are confused on anything. But I really hope that you enjoy these films and the assignment and have a good time. All right.